Thanks, Dinesh, and welcome to Coimbatore once again, Dinesh, with a different capacity for organizing this program. And it's a great learning right from morning about transforming research into commercialization. And people have discussed with a lot of challenges, the journey that we have to plan and we have to move forward. So I'll start from where Madam left the last slide. Because most of the slides, it was quite interesting, but last slide, the question has been put to us, to the incubation managers, right? Are you an incubation center or you are an event manager, right? But ma'am, thank you. You have not put any of the academic incubators photo. You have put a non-academic incubators photo and you have asked that question, right? So, I don't want to declare it. So academic incubators are in a different setup. So before going into the presentation, all right, I have a small presentation, but I'm just giving you a background. PSG STEP, the Science and Technology Entrepreneurs Park, has been started in the year 1998. And it is almost, we have completed 28 years of existence as an incubation center, right? As an incubation center, an organization surviving for 3 decades is not that easy. And most of you who have been representing in an incubation center, academic institution, people are talking about sustainability, and people are talking about survival, and people are talking about how to manage beyond funding. But think of the year 1998, when PSG started this incubation center. PSG is the first private institute to start an incubation center. And the word incubation itself has not been coined during that point of time. The second incubation center, we are the second as a private. The first is in 1983 by TREXTEP, the present NIT and the then RIE. And the year between 2 incubation centers is between 1983 and 1998. And beyond 1998, we have a lot of incubation center. And we are proud, ma'am, we are having 124 incubation centers. Yeah, but you made a statement that for a state of Tamil Nadu it is too large, but we proudly say that if you travel for 50 kilometers from one city to another city, you have to meet one incubation center. So that has led us to a lot of, I used to say that a lot of jargons that has been used in most of the presentations like co-creation, co-incubation has been really practiced in Tamil Nadu. Because if about 5 or 6 incubators has been co-created or co-incubated between 𝗏𝗏 and PSG. 𝗏𝗏 and PSG has supported about 4 or 5 incubators. So a lot of jargons which has been discussed right from the morning has been practiced, has been tested, has been failed, has been redefined, tweaked, everything we have done. And that is the reason we have been able to do something for this particular state and for the region. The third important point, most of the incubation centers are in Tier 2 and Tier 3. Out of 124, the concentration is more in Chennai and Coimbatore, but the concept of incubation center has not been started in IITs. As I mentioned you, the first incubation center was at Trichy. The second incubation center is at Coimbatore. The third incubation center was at Vellore. The fourth incubation center was at Perundurai. The fifth incubation center was at Vallam. Right? Then the IITs came, right? Then the other institutions, the central and the state institutions started doing it. So most of the concepts has been tested because the capital of the state is known for corporate. Right? The industry, R&D was there, but according to us, the innovations has happened in Tier 2 and Tier 3, and Coimbatore, it is known for, the city known for innovations and new product developments. Right. So having said that, what is that we have learned? Right from morning, we have been talking about challenges. But as an incubation center, when we started, we don't know the meaning of incubation center. But we started supporting. So there were 2 philosophies behind our existence or our success, whatever you define it, for the 3 decades. It is not about our selection criteria. It is not about how we provide support entrepreneurs. Because 3 decades, if an incubation center has to survive, right, you look at the speed at which the technology and the entrepreneurship landscape is changing. Every 2 years, a new industry will evolve. 5 years before, people are talking about data sciences. Then suddenly people started talking about IoT, IIoT. Today, people are talking about AI. Right? Day after tomorrow, somebody will come and talk about some other technology. But as an incubation center, which is very lean, which is having not more than 5 people team across the country, wherever you go, except these few incubation centers, you don't have manpower more than 5 or 6 people. How the 6 people can support an industry which can be in biotech, which can be in nanotech, which can be in biomedical, right? How it can survive, or how it can support the entrepreneurship landscape, which is changing every once in 2 years. That is the question that has to be put across all the incubation centers or the entrepreneurship leaders. Right. So there are 2 philosophies on which the PhD step has been built on. The first one is have empathy towards entrepreneurs. Either it can be biomedical, biotech, whatever it is. If an entrepreneur approaches you, have empathy towards entrepreneur. Right? Irrespective of technology or domain he is coming from. The second thing is, right, how you can reduce or how you can convert the capital expenses of an entrepreneur into your recurring expenses. If he is having 10 lakhs in his hand, instead of spending that 10 lakhs on 2 months, how we can help him to experiment it with the 10 lakhs for next 1 year or 1.5 years. Right? If you are able to provide answers to these 2 fundamentals on which we are building, I'm talking about our philosophy, right, then your incubation center can survive. This is how we have been built. We started as an IT incubation center in '98 when IT industry was not at all in Coimbatore. Coimbatore is not at all there in the IT map of Tamil Nadu. Chennai was there, Bangalore was there. We started. Today we have incubation centers in IT, electronics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and Center of Excellence in Electronics. Thanks to government agencies, right from Department of Science and Technology to BIRAC, DBT, to Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, to Department of Defense Innovation Organization, because we are partnering with IDEX. We have been working with Technology Development Board. We have been working with TIFAC. So name the agencies innovations, right? If you want to work with all the government agencies or all the agencies which supports innovation and entrepreneurship, the third thing is the team should be entrepreneurial. The incubation team should be entrepreneurial. You have to think like an entrepreneur and you have to work with an entrepreneur with the entrepreneur mindset. Unless otherwise you build that, it will be very difficult. There will be always challenges. Academic system and the entrepreneur system, right, the way the entrepreneurs work, the academics, the way the academic works, right, even if you have 100 conferences, that gap cannot be filled. Only thing is, how are we going to address this gap, right? So the responsibility lies with the incubation team, and this is our statistics. So right from morning we are discussing about how are we going to engage with the academia. Straight away we are talking about technology commercialization, licensing technology. But we don't have TTOs. We don't have technology transfer officers in most of the engineering institutions or most of the higher education institutions. Today we have 120 incubators, but we don't even have 10 TTOs in any of the institutions. That's the statistics. So incubation centers has a role to play as a TTO, right? But whether we have experiences from the incubation center team to play as a TTO, we don't have. So the first thing is we have to build ourselves, we have to build our capabilities, right? How are we going to engage with academia? It is not about technology transfer, it is not about commercialization, it is not about negotiation, it is not about selling money for 100 crores or 50 crores or whatever the things. It is about first thing what we did is, right, how are you going to engage with the academia? So far we have supported more than 400 plus startups, and currently we have 100 startups physically operating from our incubation center, which is there in both the campuses, right? Some of the samples that we have showed you, right, we have displayed to you. What kind of engagement that we had between the department and the startups? We have been working with mechanical department, we have been working with robotics, we have been working with civil department, because ours is a sector agnostic incubation center. That is the strength that we have. So the first thing as an incubation head or the team, right, forget about licensing, how to bridge the relationship between the industry and the academia, right. The second slide is, these are the few student innovations which has been converted into a successful startups. It's all final year projects. And last 5-6 years, there might be hundreds of projects that comes out of it, but we have chosen the projects such a way that where the students have the entrepreneur mindset, are ready to take the entrepreneurship as a career, and we have started with 9.5 lakhs for the final year students. Today, it's after 5 years. They are having a product portfolio of 5-6 into agri sector. They have been supported by RIE seeds. They have been growing forward. The second one, they got their first check, about 3.5 lakhs out of 5.5 lakhs on the last working day, which has been closed for the COVID on March 23rd or 24th. Today, they have raised IDEX funding for about 50 lakhs. They are from Department of Robotics and Automation Engineering. Right? Similarly, we have identified people, and it is about grooming the students as an entrepreneur, right? So, and the grooming doesn't allow on silos between incubation center and the students. It is between incubation center, faculty, the department. Please note that the parents also. Unless otherwise we bring in the parents component into it, right? After graduation, right, till the day of graduation, he'll be talking to you as a student project. The day after graduation, if the parents or the family has not been included in the discussions or has not been brought into as an inclusivity, it will be very difficult for you to take it to the next level, right? So what is that we have learned? These are the challenges that has been spoken right from morning. The priorities are different. The priority of faculty is different. The priority of the academia is different. Timelines are different. Yes. We work on defined timetables. When the college gets reopened on June 1, till the next year, May 31st, we know when is the college, when is the exams, when is the evaluation, when is the vacation, when we are coming back, right? What are the days going to happen? Everything is calendar made. If you go to the industry, everything, right, they have a plan, but they'll be always having plan A, plan B, and plan C. If something is not working, they go with plan B, and they ensure that things has to be achieved. But academia go on a structured thing. So we have to bridge between a structured thing and a semi-structured or a flexible and aggressive planning that has been done by the industry, right? So timeline definitely varies, and the outcome. The outcome expectation of the industries is different. They measure with the bottom line, P&L, and the product portfolio, and about their competitors, and about their positioning their company and their product. Whereas the outcome of the academia is different. We have our own outcomes. At times, AICTE, UGC fixes some outcome. At times, the magazines also fixing some outcomes through ranking. So we have to work for various stakeholders, whereas industry works for the competitors, for the society, or for their products and services. And the impact that we are going to write. Whether it can be addressed with any of the system and processes, definitely not. So a person who takes the responsibility of the TTO or an incubation manager, if he decides to take this responsibility, should accept this, there is a gap, and he should put his efforts, he or she should put his or her efforts to address this gap, and this is the lesson that we have learned. Out of 400 plus, right, I have showed some few startups which are some current startups we are working with the academics, but with more than 20, 30, 40 startups which we've been closely working with the academic departments, I've just put some nutshell, what is that we have learned. There's a difference between technology development and product development, right? If a faculty is interested in product development, yes, connect with them. If the faculty is interested in technology development, and with the technology you can come out with different applications, stop the faculty with the technology development and move forward. But understand the difference between technology development and product development. And the second thing is, divide the development process into milestones. Right, what is that can be done, right? What is the industry wants, and whether this can be done in 6 months, 3 months, or 1 year, right? Have some milestones and split that milestones into tasks, right? And the other thing, important thing is the resources. Resources in terms of knowledge resource in terms of, can be in terms of funding, it can be in terms of infrastructure, hardware, software, whatever it is. But as an incubation manager, you should have the list of resources with you. What is that required to make this entrepreneur so successful? That's the reason I told you empathy towards entrepreneur is more important. Right? And I put some questions as roles and responsibilities, and the third one is what is in it for me? What it means, right? Ma'am was mentioning, I was listening to it. I was feeling after few years, I felt bad that whether I have given at a low cost, at a lower cost, right? That feeling should not be there. See, it is like selling your asset. See, technology transfer is nothing, but if you put me in a colloquial way, right, you have a car, second-hand car, you want to sell it, right? Always we have a human psychology. Even after selling the car and even after getting the money, somebody would have told you, right, you would have sold it another 20,000 more, then we'll not sleep for 4 or 5 days. Right? We would have constructed a house, we would have had the housewarming ceremony, we would have been happily celebrated inviting 100, 200 people, and somebody would have told that, oh, you paid for 2,000 rupees per square feet. I did last week, no, I closed it for 1,990 rupees, then I'll not sleep for next 4 or 5 days. Right? So if whatever that can be measured, whatever that we have enjoyed, we are going to enjoy it, and we are going to, live with that for years together. Even for that, if you are not able to accept it, think of a mindset. Somebody is going to get an asset from you and says that I'm going to get it from you for 10 lakhs and I'm going to generate profit for 5 crores and 50 crores, whether we'll be able to accept it. So the one thing is, what is in it for me is, right, podhumenra maname. Right? If you want to be a successful faculty, you should start with this, right? I have developed this, it is for the society. You fix an amount. Whether it can be 1 crore or 2 crores or 50 lakhs and things like that, but be happy with that. And then you start negotiating with the industry, right? And you can give benefit to the industry. And say that if you want to move forward to the portfolio of this product with this thing, I'm there to support you, right? So that is what is in it for me means, whether I have to publish papers, or whether I want to have an IP share, whether I want to have a revenue share, or whether I want to be a mentor to your company. You decide what is that you want it. It can be 1, or it can be 2, or it can be combination of 1, 2, 3. But you should be very clear what is that you want it. You means here not only you are the face of your institution. Stakeholders are also more important. Management, your host institution is also more important. So what is in it for me is not for you alone. What is that you bring onto the table, but it is your responsibility to convince your host institution, your management to accept for it and move forward. So unless otherwise we have this, right, the last one, right, what if you're not clear on what is in for me, then you will not be clear on allocation of funds, right, for the product development or technology development, right? Unless otherwise you are clear, it is in your hands, so that you will be having with a clear mind and things like that. The last point what I want to say is, when you are talking about promoting entrepreneurship, people are talking about, if you have a A-class team and a B-class idea, which one you will vote for, people are talking about team. People are talking about team, not about the idea, right? But when it comes to research, people are talking always about the research ideas and the technology and things like that, right? We should also give importance to the researchers. Wherever possible, if you are able to accommodate, the industry can accommodate the researcher as part of their team, right, even for the future research and things like that. And if the researcher has been given importance as a team member, right, how you give importance for the team when you are looking at investing in a company, in a startup and things like that, if you start considering researchers beyond their idea and things like that, slowly the things will start changing. So as a closing point, right, only message that I have is, have empathy towards entrepreneurs. Similarly, since it's research, entrepreneurs should also have empathy towards researchers, right? That's the second important thing. Third, it is wherever possible, right, try to convert your capital expenditure. If it is an entrepreneur, instead of paying 1 crore at one go, right, whether it can be connected with the revenue, whether it can be connected with the profit sharing, try to convert the capital expenditure into a recurring expenditure, right? We can see some changes that's going to happen in the coming years. With this, I thank you everyone for the opportunity. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to address it. Since Senthila is behind me, I think there is no questions. Thank you.